every once in a while the Comedy Store has like their like $5 special things. And I was going to go, but they didn't have the $5 special for the Neil Brennan show, so I was like, fuck it.
I have Comedy Store free tickets if you ever want some.
Fuck yeah, next time Neil Brennan's there.
Get undressed, get under the sheets. Ooh, you're in for a treat. No, I promise this is not a dream. It's just a happy ending with Joy Eileen.
Okay, so ready?
Yeah.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions are not those of this establishment. Also, this establishment, including me, assumes no responsibility or liability for any loss or damage suffered by any person as a result of the massage or this establishment. Ta-da! All right, that part is done.
Strongly agree.
All right. And on the table I have...
I'm Alice Rose. I do stand-up comedy for free at the moment, but hopefully one day people will pay me to do it.
Not hopefully, it's gonna happen. You are so awesome. We're so proud of you on Monday.
Oh my gosh, I was like shaking. I think I told you this. Like I walked up and they called my name and immediately I got like tunnel vision and I was like, okay, don't fall when you're walking up the stairs. And I could like feel my voice shaking, but I was like, I'm pretty sure people can't hear that because I've like recorded it and been like, oh man, my voice is shaking and it sucked. And then I listened to it and I'm like, oh, you couldn't hear it. I could just feel it. So I could feel it and I was like, but I think this is still going okay. And then I dropped my, big first joke and got fucking laughs and I was like, this is gonna be fun. I got him from here.
It was like, we were so excited when we heard your name. I'm like, yes! And then John's like, oh, she's gonna do good. She's gonna do good. I'm like, I know, she's one of ours. He's like, I'm a people collector.
Yeah, a lot of your people got up on Monday.
Yeah, they sure did.
It was great.
And John laughs at me. He's like, who are we collecting next? And I'm like, I don't know if that's like gonna be a proper term and maybe I shouldn't say that. But I'm like, this person and this person are ours now, and they're all mine.
I have a friend named Dylan Walker who does stand-up, and he's always really funny. And so I told him, I'd been telling him about Kill Tony forever, and he'd never been coming. And then when I told him what happened on Monday, he was like, okay, like, I'll go. And I was like, you're goddamn right, you'll go. So you'll have a new person when Dylan gets there.
Yay, I love you know what? I say this all the time, and I know it probably sounds like I'm the biggest ass kisser ever. I fucking love that place.
Dude, yeah. That's just exciting.
I walked in that place and I'm like, oh, this is what home feels like. Okay.
Oh man, I felt it just feels cool to be there. Like that. Do you remember that night that you snuck up on me? Yeah. For the listeners, I was walking to the Comedy Store because I'd parked far away. And as I'm walking across the crosswalk for La Cienega and Sunset, and I am staring up at this like Jim Jeffries poster. And I'm like walking down the sidewalk, and I have my headphones in, and I hear someone's like yelling at me, and my like go-to is like, don't look at them, no eye contact, nothing. It's probably just like someone being like, nice titties. And I don't.
You do have nice titties, by the way.
I know, but they don't have to shout it at me.
Just whisper it in my ear.
Yeah, just like wink and be like, those are good titties. And I'll be like, I appreciate it, I appreciate your professionalism. But yeah, then I was just assuming that you were just like a creep, and then I could tell you were walking behind me, and I was like, okay, like you're like low-key being followed, but you're almost to the Comedy Store, so like you'll be okay if you just play it cool. And then you ran up beside me and I'm like, oh, it's Joy, it's not a murderer.
You're like, oh, thank goodness, it's just Joy.
But then when we got into the Comedy Store, Jim Jeffries was like just hanging out at the patio. And I was like, I just walked by a fucking billboard of you, and now you're right there with Whitney Cummings, and it just felt cool.
It does.
It's just, there's like it's so corny to say electricity, but it's an exciting place.
It is, and the people there, I mean, yeah, there's gonna be there's always has to be the people who spoil it, but for the most part, everyone I've met, I've collected. I'm like, I like you. Yeah. You were nice. I'm keeping you.
It's great. Have you ever seen or talked to Goat versus Fish?
Okay, he got up on Kill Tony once, and that is the first time I've ever heard of Goat versus Fish.
Oh God.
And John, for the most part, is a better person than I am, so he's more calm, and I'm the one that's like, da, 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 da. So John was like, I don't like this guy. I don't like him. And I'm like, yeah, but you know what? He's committing. Like, he's fucking pot committed right there. Mm-hmm. And then I started looking into him, and I've noticed a lot of people have been on his podcast that he does freaking in the basement, in the podcast room of the Comedy Store, which I've only been when I've done podcasts for, like, Guam. I'm like, damn it, I want down there.
Yeah.
And, so no, yes and no. And one time he went up to me, and I was next to John, and he started, Goat versus Fish, started talking to me. And John was like, I will be right back, and straight up just ditched me. He's like, babe, bye.
You're on your own with Goat versus Fish.
Okay.
Oh my God. I was like, I'd seen him multiple times at the open mics. And the first time I saw him, it was Christmas, and so he was singing, like, on the 12th day of Christmas, but it was all goats. Like, I got 12 goats and 12 fish and fucking like shit like that. And I was like, this is like a silly thing. He must be like a silly dude. And then, like, he kept coming back, like, month after month, still just doing Goat versus Fish. And I'm like, oh my God, this is all this guy does.
This is you.
And then I walked past him on the sidewalk outside the Comedy Store, and I was like, he was talking to someone. I'm like, oh my God, I need to, like, listen to him, like, have, like, a normal conversation. So I, like, stopped, pretended to check my phone. But really I was eavesdropping, and he's talking to a complete stranger about goats and fish.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, this is all you do. And then that night was the night he got called up on both the potluck and Kill Tony, and I was like, fuck you.
Well, see, the potluck, I'm not surprised he got on it, because the potluck, normally number 1 is the weirdest name they find on the list.
Oh,
like,
okie dokie.
If you notice it, it's all, like, I don't know.
When we got up, the number 1 lamb on the list was Cat Daddy. That makes sense.
And then there's been, like, I don't know if you know who Evil Dick is. He's part of, like, the Ding Dong Show.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, he got up. Mystery Dan. Like, everybody who has, like, an odd sounding...
Mystery Dan on the potluck first.
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Mystery Dan, I just found out, got kicked out of the Hollywood Hotel open mics.
Why?
Because even though he is a homosexual, I guess he was spurting out some stuff that the bartender wasn't a huge fan of.
Shit.
And so because the bartender, Johnny, he's super nice. I actually did this podcast in the storage room of the Hollywood Hotel.
Really?
Yeah, with Tom Whalen. And then I think I'm going to do CJ too there.
Yeah.
And because Johnny's super nice, and I'm like, hey, is there a place I can just unload my table? And he's like, yeah, go take the storage room. And he's looking at me like, I'm so used to weird people, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't remember. I think it was CJ was telling me that Johnny was just like, nope, no more, because he's in that bar the whole time. Like, he takes care of all of the open micers. They do an open mic almost every night at the Hollywood Hotel.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hardest room. I still have not cracked that room.
Oh my God, I bombed so hard in the Hollywood Hotel. Oh my fucking God. I feel like it's not the comic's fault necessarily, because it's like a hallway, so you're telling comedy to people that are like to your left and to your right.
Yes.
And no one's in front of you. And like my comedy has some visual components, like a little bit is my body language. And so I can't fucking, that's not a good room for me. It just like, it was hard. Yeah. But I got one laugh on top and then no laughs for the rest of the time. Like my first laugh, I went up there and I was like, I'm loving the energy in this basement right now, because it was like so dead. Like everyone wanted to leave, and I was like, there's a real, your mother and I are separating energy in this basement right now. And they laughed. And then the rest of my set fucking bombed. And beforehand, the like host had been complimenting me because there was a super drunk bitch who, like, her hair almost caught on fire. I had to move a candle out of the way so her hair didn't go up in flames.
Oh my gosh.
And she like jumped up and started like heckling, and then like picked up the microphone and started talking to the microphone while someone was up there. It was quite a thing. And so I was sitting right next to her, but I wasn't with her, and they knew that, and they were like, give it up for Alice Rose for like being like a sport when that crazy drunk lady was there. And then he was like, she's up next, maybe she'll be funny, maybe she won't be funny, who knows. And then after I went and I bombed, the host came back up and he was like, Alice Rose, everybody, as advertised.
Oh shit.
I was like, that was pretty fucking good.
It's a rough room, but it's so hard to get a room that I get it, why it's stacked every night, because people are like, fuck, it's a room. it's a rough. I have not cracked that room. I mean, I get like the pitter-pattering laughs every once in a while.
Yes, I got a handful of chuckles.
But other than that, yeah.
I also went up super late in the night, and like a lot of people had left by that point. Mm-hmm. And then there's also a good amount of people who just like hang out in the lobby, and I'm like, you guys just wait for your name to get called, go up and then leave. You don't stick around to like listen to the other people do their sets. Like, fuck you. We didn't come here to see you.
Welcome to LA open mic.
Fucking dick. People do that at the store, too. They'll, like, go up at the open mic for their fucking shot, and then they'll be like, oh, text me when I'm on deck, and then they'll, like, be at the bar the rest of the time, and then they'll, fuck you. Like, you asshole. Like, be part of this if you're going to be part of this.
Right, support. Like, I try my best. Like, when I did the potluck, I wanted to stay, but I also want to go to Kill Tony, because, you know, it's date night, too.
I only left to go to Kill Tony. I tried to stick around as long as I could.
But I do my best. I know in a couple open mics, I'm now starting to be known as Mama Joy. Which is really rough because these kids are like 28, 27, and I'm like, I'm 36, guys. Like,
yeah, what the fuck?
I'm not your mama. But I've noticed, like, done this ever since, I don't know, forever.
When somebody start making sex noises, by the way.
That's good. That's awesome.
There's like a knot right there, and you're just like working it.
It's super tough. Yeah, you've got some knots. When somebody says something sad, and I don't realize I'm doing it, I go, oh. And now they've all noticed it, so you'll hear like an open micer go, oh, Mama Joy's in the back somewhere. Is that what I'm gonna be? Is that who I'm turning into?
I have like, I don't know why, like I gasp. Ugh, that feels super good. Oh my god.
I just turned you into a valley girl.
I know.
Oh my god.
OMG, that's so great. I will gasp, and so like when people will say something shocking, like when people have comedy that is about like racist experiences, they'll be like, this person did this, and I'm like, and they're like, whoa, like it's okay, I'm just telling jokes, and I'm like, oh no, like I'm laughing, but also, whoa, like,
right?
I don't mean to like fuck up your set, but holy shit, someone was such an asshole to you.
It's funny, like I'm so naive when it comes to a lot of things, and then hearing some of these comedians and what they've talked about and what they've went through, I'm all, oh my god, I need to learn how to bake cookies so I can bake them cookies.
Yeah.
They just, and it's funny too because I don't know if you've had any like trauma in your life, you know, that deep dark shit that goes down and makes your comedy kind of crazy.
What comic hasn't?
Right, exactly. But a lot of the times I don't think about mine, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you've been through so much, and then people will be like, Joy, you were in like a pretty friggin' abusive relationship for 3 years, and I'm like, oh yeah, but then
you're like, yeah, that's my shit, but whatever, but your shit, holy fuck.
Right, like I have a hard time like
I do
my stuff to other people.
I do the same thing. People tell me their shit, and they're like, didn't your parents like beat the fuck out of you when you were a kid? I'm like, yeah, but like your thing, holy fuck, like
right, like I survived it, I'm fine.
Yeah, like, I'm like, that was whatever, not a big deal, hardly remember it. But, like your thing, Jesus, get help, get therapy.
Let me help you. I'll drive you.
Yeah, do you need a hug? God.
I know, I'm the hugger too. I'm like, I'll hug you.
And I'm like, just like, we can get wine, we can cry it out, like, come over to my place, we'll get through this. I am a great listener.
And then I'll write a book about it, and we'll be good. I'll give you all the proceeds. It's okay. Like, let's just do that.
Yeah, it'll be dedicated to you, but I'll make the money.
What money? Only money I make is when I write other people's books.
You write other people. You do some ghostwriting?
I do.
I didn't know that about you, girl.
I do. In fact, what I do is I write other people's romance books to pay for my books. So I don't have to take it out of, like, our bank. Like, I feel weird taking money from my children.
Yeah.
So I work and I use just my ghostwriting money for, like, covers and editors and marketing and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. I feel like something I always noticed working in daycare for so long, because, like, my mom ran a daycare when I was a kid. She opened a daycare in our house when I was 7, and she actually still runs the daycare out of her house. And I was homeschooled, so I have been changing diapers since I was like 7 years old. And I ran a daycare for 3 years, and I've been a nanny for, since like 2002, I've been like nannying. And I noticed that like in so many families, like the husband will have like some sort of super expensive, like mostly douchey hobby. And the wife will just be like struggling away with the fucking kids. Like there was like a guy at my church who like collected swords. And he would like he like bring them and he'd be like, this is like, you know, the sword of the spirit, some Jesus bullshit. And I would be like, he'd be like, you know, this one cost me $300. And I'm like, what the fuck hobby does your wife have that's like anywhere near what you have? Like, I don't think she could drop $300 on what, some makeup or something, even though that's like not even really for her, that's for you, motherfucker. Like,
right.
I'm like, I'm certain she does not have an equally as financially like burdensome hobby as your fucking sword collecting. And it's like always the dudes have these hobbies, so I think it's dope as fuck that you have your like book writing thing that you do for you.
Yes, and then the comedy. I got lucky. I hate to say it, but my ex-boyfriend did a good thing for me. He did everything wrong. So when I decided to go, like, put my toe back in the dating world, I was like, I'm not going to have this. I'm not going to take this. And then I found John, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'm going to just keep you. Yeah. You're mine now. And he's been to every author signing I've done. People love John more than they love me. It's kind of insane. And he's been to almost every comedy show. I mean, except he doesn't go to open mics, which I don't fucking blame him.
That I completely understand.
Right? I'm like, I don't want to go to open mics. If I could just do shows, that would be fantastic.
My soon-to-be ex-husband would come to open mics with me at first, and then I would like, but they just go so late in the night, and he's got like a real fucking job, you know, and I do too, but like at the time I had like, you know, fewer hours, and so I could kind of get away with like being out until 1 a.m. easier. And so I was like, hey, this one goes till 1 a.m. and even if I get called up at like, you know, 10:45, I'm gonna stick around, because I always like to stick around and like, you know, you're fucking networking, you're making friends, and you're just being supportive and like a decent person.
Exactly.
And so he would like go at first because he liked to see me like tell my jokes, and I would try to like run them by him and be like, does this work? What do I do? But he'd be like, no, I don't want to hear it until you're saying it on stage.
Oh my god, John does the same thing. I'm all, but I want like a second opinion on this. Like, how should I fix this, you know, tag in this bit? And he's like, no, I want to like be an audience member. You know, does it sound okay? Does it sound right?
And then like something will like bomb sometimes. And like on the way home, he'll be like, oh, you could say it like this. I'm like, where the fuck was that earlier?
I have a hard time with that. John, he'll be like, oh, I liked it better when you said it like that. And I'm like, you know what, motherfucker, you get up on stage. Like, damn it.
Yeah.
And I get kind of violent with him because I'm like, don't say that. And then afterwards, I'm like, yeah, you're right. But that first initial, like, don't fuck with me.
Oh my god, that's so good. Podcast listeners, it's just that she's sticking her finger in my asshole, that's all.
She likes it. It's very tight. One of the tightest ones I've ever stuck my finger in, so.
Oh my god. Oh, well, you know, I'm glad I'm up there. Yeah, I there's sometimes when, like, I have a notebook that I keep that I just write down every single joke that someone who isn't a stand-up comedian is like, you can use that for your act. And they are 100% trash.
Yes!
And I write them all down because it's funny to go back and like listen to this like you have no idea what you're doing.
They're like, yeah, if you want, I've had that too. Like, if you want that, I'm all,
like, no, I don't want that. What the fuck am I going to do with that?
No, you just put that in a yard sale. You go there and then you take that.
Like, you know, why don't you say that in a microphone and see what the fucking room does?
Gosh, I love it when people say that though. I've always been funny. I think I could do stand up. I'm like, okay, then
go ahead.
It.
Give it a try. Like, get up there.
Good for you. Like, that's how I felt. I was like, oh, I'm funny. I make people laugh when they're on the massage table. I'm gonna do this, you know. And
yeah, I'm like supportive. Like, if it's what you want to try, but like just like understand that like with the people that go in and they're cocky about it, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't think that you're like I don't think it's gonna work.
Right.
The people that go in and they're like, I'm really nervous, I hope they laugh. I'm like, okay, there's potential because there's self-awareness.
And they care.
Yeah.
The ones that don't care,
the audience knows you don't give a shit. The audience knows if you think you're funny and they're like, fuck you.
Exactly. And you can see it too. Like, you can see who's gonna try hard. I mean, obviously there's times that you're wrong and you're like, oh shit, that person surprised me. Yeah. Either good or bad. But for the most part, you can tell like who's gonna stick with it, who's actually really cares about it, who's writes.
Oh my god, I was at the Laugh Factory. I've only been to the Laugh Factory open mic once because it starts at 6 p.m. and I get off work at 6 p.m. so I can't get over there before. But I had the best time and I only went once and I got called up, so I'm glad that it like my one time actually I got on stage. But there was this girl who went up and she was like a dancer and she had like stage presence, she had confidence. I was kind of laughing. Her shit wasn't super clever. There was a lot of physical aspects to it, which made sense because she was a dancer. You know, like that was her kind of, you know.
She was body self-aware,
yeah.
right.
And so she was doing this bit about how, like, you know, you never see dancers fall. They always, like, gracefully catch themselves. And then she did, like, 3 sort of, like, you know, falls that turned into, like, spins and dances. And at the end, she, like, dropped into the splits. And the fucking host was so annoyed. She gets up there and she's like, God, don't you just, like, hate fucking pilot season? When all of these fucking actors, their managers are like, well, you should try comedy, you know, that looks good on the resume. Like, you know, there's no obstacles to fame in comedy. And the room was like, whoa, you're kind of taking some shit out on this bitch. She just came up to try to tell some jokes. Like, damn. And the room felt like it was too harsh, and I couldn't tell if they felt like it was too harsh just because the host was a woman. Like, if a dude had said that, they'd been like, oh yeah, he's seen a lot, he's sick of this shit.
Yeah,
but she said that, and they were like, you're being mean.
Why are you such a bitch? Are you on your period?
And also, the girl who was a dancer was a fucking dancer, so she was hot, so all the guys were like, don't be mean to her. She's got feelings, I want to fuck.
You know, the sad thing is, though, I've heard that, like, January to, like, March, you will see this crazy surge of comedians because they're all like, oh, my New Year's resolution is I'm going to do comedy. So you see this huge, like, all the door guys were telling me about it at the Comedy Store, and they're like, yeah, it'll go away in, like, March. And then they've told me, too, that a lot more people have held on longer than normal.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
And it's true, like, the agents do say, hey, you need to go try stand-up, let's put this on your resume, let's give you more of a bump.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've heard that before, but I don't like being mean to people's faces.
Yeah, I felt like, you know what, it takes something to get on the stage in the first place.
Right.
You know, like, you have to have that, like, motivation to, like, chase a dream, even if you're someone who kind of doesn't care and who thinks that they're funny and you're, like, a dick. I'm like, you know what, I'll go into this with, like, an open heart, and if you don't make me laugh, I'm not gonna fake a laugh for you. But, like, I'll respect the fact that you crawled up there and did your best. And, like, honestly, when they're, like, sweating, most of the time I feel bad unless they're just, like, a huge dick. Because there's some guys that get up there and they're telling their fucking, like, rape jokes, and I'm like, honestly, I will laugh at a joke if it's funny. It doesn't matter what it's about.
I agree.
Like, I have no, like, you can't laugh at that. But then you can tell some guys are telling jokes out of, like, entitlement and not, and like, there's no wit. There's nothing clever. There's nothing even original about it.
No, I completely agree.
And it's just like, I'm like, fuck you, dude. Like, you're sweating up there. You're, like, having a terrible time. You kind of fucking deserve that. You seem like a dick in real life. This isn't jokes. This is, like, a rant.
And it's just like the people, like, I've said this a couple times, I've said this on this podcast, is the people who also get up there and they're like, oh, fuck, I'm so high, I don't have any jokes. And I'm like, you know what? Fucking Richard Pryor would get on stage with coke in both nostrils and fucking slay the room.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's your fucking excuses.
You're wasting my time. I don't have a lot of time. I'm a fucking busy person. You know, but if you're gonna try, and if you're nervous and you forget your jokes, but don't use fucking drugs as an excuse. That makes me so angry.
I know. Like, shit. Like, get your shit together. You know?
I mean, we've all bombed. Like, fuck. The first time I bombed was on Kill Tony, and that hurt.
Oof.
And I wanted to go kill myself, and it was ridiculous. It was also in front of Mike Lawrence and Frank Castillo, right after Frank Castillo won the Roast Battle Championship.
Oh, man.
So, like, 2 of the most honed Roast Battle champs just slayed me.
Just roasted you.
Like, basically,
oh, God.
why are you doing this? Why are you here? Who said you should do this? You know? And I'm like, oh.
Oof, Jesus. But, you know, you've been on 4 times, so, you know, fucking bring it back and, like, redeem yourself.
Yes.
You know?
Although the last time I got on was in November with Moshe Kesher, who I actually thought was going to offer you a job on Monday.
Oh, as a nanny? I would have had to say no because, like, I just got this job that it's perfect and I love it. And also, the nanny hours that they would need would be, like, the hours that I would want to be at open mics.
That's true.
And also, like, I'm sure they had the self-awareness to be like, having a nanny who's also an open micer is weird because we have to be like, hey, you know, fold the baby's clothes. And I'm like, what about this tag? You know, like, that's weird for them.
True.
So I had a feeling that they had enough self-awareness to not do that.
Her eyes did line up, though.
Yeah, she was like, oh, I can ask these, like, some nanny questions.
Nanny questions. How long do I have to spend with my child?
That was fucking great.
Fantastic. I'm like, yeah, I want to know the answer to that question because I fucking, I
had a thought about, like, not, like, too soon jokes, but, like, jokes that, like, people don't like think are funny.
Uh-huh.
Because I have some things in my life that are difficult to laugh at. Like, I've listened to people tell jokes about Black Lives Matter and been like that, I can tell in your joke that you don't quite understand Black Lives Matter, so it's hard for me to laugh at. But, like, they'll get laughs in the room.
Uh-huh.
And I'll be like, like, it's not that they can't tell the joke. It's that I'm not the right audience for the joke.
Exactly.
And so my whole thing about, like, even like rape jokes and stuff, I'm like, there are people that won't be the right audience for that, but that doesn't mean that those jokes don't have a place.
And you know? Yes. And that's why I feel, we need that in this world. Mm-hmm. How boring would this world be if every joke everybody liked and everybody didn't like a specific joke?
Yeah.
Or, everybody would be wearing the same clothing. Everybody would like the same music. I think when people choose something different that's maybe not in the norm, or just something that they like and maybe 1,000 billion other people like as well, that's where you get your passion from.
Yeah.
I am a huge rock and roll metal girl, and that's just my music. That's what I connect with, and that's where my passion for music comes from. But then there's somebody else who has the same passion for, I don't know why, country. And it's just like,
we'll never know.
I don't understand them. Like, maybe they were dropped on their head and I just lost my one listener. But it's just, and that's what I say about books too, because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't like romance, or my romance is not very 50 Shades of Grey, and it's very dialogue based. Like, I make my characters get to know each other before they see their no-no zones, which is not my real life, because I showed my no-no zone to many people without even knowing their name. Hi, kids. So, and but then there's people who like the BDSM. There's people who there's women right now, the huge genre right now is male. Women love to read about men making out with men. Mm-hmm. And that's the great thing about it, is there's so many things to choose from. Yeah. So there are times like comics will get on and like people will be laughing and I'm just like, not my thing. But good for them for finding their audience. Yeah. And who cares about me? I'm just one person. Yeah. Just because I don't like the joke doesn't mean that like I should take down the joke. Like that there's something wrong with the joke because it wasn't for me. Exactly. Like that's what I think, is that there's a right audience and there's a wrong audience, and sometimes you get like a mixed audience and it lands with some people, it doesn't land with other people. It's just like the people that it doesn't land with should have the like self-awareness to not write a blog about it if you are in a room where it's getting laughter. Exactly. Because like Dave Chappelle got into, he didn't get into trouble, he's fucking Dave Chappelle. Right. But articles were written about his Cosby jokes that he told in his stand-up, and I was laughing my fucking ass off at those jokes. And then he had his jokes about like Louis C.K. and I wasn't laughing at those. I was like, these jokes come from a place where it seems like maybe he doesn't quite get how serious it was. But he's telling them in the belly room and they're fucking getting laughter. Oh my fucking god. Jesus Christ. I have to stop talking. I completely get that. And there's a female comedian who is fucking enormous, and good for her, because girl power, hell yeah. But she tells a lot of jokes about dating and how like she goes to a bar and she dresses all pretty with like her sorority sisters. Your college experience was completely different from my college experience. I never went to Vegas and wore like bikinis and played in the pool. I was looking for the buffets. So like the Bellagio buffet, by the way, is fucking amazing. There was somebody else told me about the buffet. I talk about food way too much and massage rooms, but somebody was like, oh, you gotta go to this buffet, and I'm like, all right, let's go right now, like put your clothes on or not, I don't really care which one you want to do. But she gets these huge fucking laughs, and it makes me so proud of her, like good for you. It's just not for me. Exactly. I'm the mom, there's lots of like super popular male comedians that like I used to like try to like look down on their comedy, and I'm like, no, like they're getting their laughs, that I'm not their audience. And that's another thing too, somebody was like, I don't understand. My fucking shoulders. I think it's my bra straps. Yes. Right here too. Yeah. It's because these fucking giant tits that I have. I know. I've got them too. It's hard to lay down on the table, like face down. Oh, I know. I know. You like have to like adjust and make sure that they're in the right spot. Like, okay, they're good. You should. When I get people who have breast implants, they're like, "Don't pop them, but go hard." I'm like, what? you gotta take one or the other. I don't know what you want. But last night when we were at the Comedy Store, we were talking to a couple door guys. And they were like, I don't understand. And he's like, I don't understand why people can't be happy for other people's success.
Yeah.
And I go, because they're worried there's not enough.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's fucking it. And I'm all, but what they don't realize is it's fucking infinite.
Yeah.
You can grab, like, you can be successful. You can grab those laughs. And if you miss a couple laughs, it's okay.
Oh my God.
Like, everybody, you can't listen to the same goddamn comedian do the same goddamn joke every day. Like, you want some spice, and that's okay. Like, you can't read the same book.
Yeah, I actually enjoy a little bit, like, I'll watch a stand-up comedian who I know I'm not their audience, and just to see if they have any jokes that do get to me. And then I'm like, I enjoy doing that occasionally. Obviously, not a ton. I'm not going to, like, watch tons of stand-up specials where I'm, like, just not laughing the whole time.
Right.
But I think it's fun to be like, oh, that was good. I see where, like I can see where, like, your kind of process is a little bit.
Right.
Whereas, like, the rest of this is just not landing with me. I relate to none of this. But
yes.
It kind of makes it that much more exciting for me when I'm like, I find a joke of theirs that I do like. I don't know.
My favorite thing is when I can't guess the punchline.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times, like, I'm already 5 steps ahead in the joke, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be hilarious. But there is a couple times, Argus Hamilton did it to me once, and it was one of the greatest feelings ever, is he told this freaking joke, and I was like, all right, it's going here. And he fucking took a hard left, and I laughed. I was all, oh my God! Like, verbally, like, yes, that is fantastic.
Yeah, I felt like I think that the reason why my Gatorade joke does so well is because it takes turns that people weren't, like, expecting.
Yes.
And it's just sort of like, yeah, there's like an unexpected thing. I hate predictable comedy. I mean, I feel like everyone hates it, but
and it's there, and I mean, it has
and I have
its place.
I have predictable jokes that have like little predictable tags on the way to like a punchline that I'm like, I have to do this for the setup, you know?
And then you gotta hit it hard, and then oh my gosh, and it's a beautiful thing when it fucking works. Oh,
seeing like stand-up comedians that have like Netflix specials that have jokes that I can predict makes me feel a little bit better about like my comedy.
Yes.
You know, because I'm like, okay, that wasn't like the sharpest thing ever, and you have a Netflix special.
Yes.
So like, I just need to put in like man hours and like, you know, fucking own the stage, good presence, and like know my shit and work hard.
Yes.
And I could do some of this, you know?
Just process your dues and be like, okay, I'm giving my dues, I'm working my ass off, and then it'll pay off. Everybody's like, yeah, but sometimes it doesn't work, and I'm like, yeah, but fuck you.
Yeah, there's an element of luck, and we all signed up for that when we moved to LA.
Yeah. But, you know, and then it's just how hard do you want to work? Because there's people like, you know, the January to March people, and then they just faded away. And hopefully they find what they want to do, because if they don't have the passion to keep going for it, then that's okay. Find your passion. Just don't let it be little kids.
Yeah.
Because that's not good. You know?
I'm okay with the pilot season people, because it's like, I came to LA to do acting, and I always wanted to try stand-up comedy so that I could be an actor. I thought like stand-up comedy will be like a quick way into acting, which is bullshit. But when I started doing stand-up comedy, like, I don't even go to acting classes anymore. I'm like, I like this way better. So these, like, you know, these pilot season people who are just like dipping their toe in the water, I'm like kind of okay with it, because it's like, maybe you'll like it, maybe you'll find that this was the thing for you,
right?
You know. And I've also like been in acting classes where someone comes in, they're like, I've been doing stand-up comedy, but acting was what I really wanted to do, and I'm like, that's okay too.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna be like, no, you gotta go back to stand-up. So when I'm in stand-up, why am I gonna tell someone like, no, you gotta go back to acting? You know, you can find your passion. Exactly.
And yeah, why limit yourself? Like, go. Like, fuck. Poor John, like, every time he's like, what's next? And I'm like, well, since you asked, we're going to do this now. And he's like, shit, you know, the same with this podcast. I've been having this idea to do this podcast for over a year now. And it finally kind of just came to fruition because somebody's like, I want a fucking massage. You're going to record it. We're done. Like, Chris Petrie was like, I'm sick of you talking about it. Let's do it. And poor John, he's like, okay, now what are we doing? I'm like, okay, well, we're still doing stand-up. I'm still writing. I'm still ghostwriting. I think I'm still a mom to your children. children, and now we're going to start a podcast. And let's also go to the Comedy Store because I want to see about writing jobs now. So,
Yeah.
and it's sad because massage is what makes the most money. I make no money in comedy yet. And
Same. Nanny's paying my bills.
yeah, exactly. And books, I break even sometimes, but so it's funny. Like, this isn't the biggest passion, but it's also the money.
Well, it's making me very happy if that makes you feel better.
I've got some crazy shoulders.
They're fucked up. Oh my god.
So you moved here 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, March 2016.
Nice.
I think my shoulders are also fucked up because I usually have a baby on my hip all day.
Uh-huh.
And it's usually like one arm until that arm is exhausted, then I switch them over to the other side.
Yep.
And so I just like wear my muscles down.
Yep.
But I can't not hold the baby because he's so cute.
How old is he?
He's 16 months old.
Oh.
I know, and I just like squishing his little face. He's the best. He calls me Lala because that's as close as he can get to my name.
Oh.
I just fucking melt. He's the best. But yeah, he fucked up my shoulder, so thanks, kiddo.
Parents need to give you a raise.
I know.
Be like, my shoulders are raising to my ears. I need a raise in my bank account.
There's only so many massage casts I can do.
Right. I only have so many stories. Like, I'm going to do well on Kill Tony every time I get called up because you're fucking awesome.
Dude, I think it'd be so funny if I went up on Kill Tony and then just played to silence and just got no laughs after just like doing like fucking so great last time, which I, feel like it was really great based on all of the randos that have been in my Instagram DMs telling me that they were like pulling over their car because they were laughing too hard. So I'm not just like flattering myself.
No,
people have been telling
amazing.
me that I did well. I just sounded so narcissistic. I'm like, after I did so great. But I think it'd be hilarious if I just went back on and they're like, she's back, give it up. And then I'm like, so what's the deal with airline food?
Do you guys see that one show? The one.
I saw a funny thing on the internet. Let me read it to you. God, I fucking hate that style of stand-up.
Holy shit. So Wednesday, I did a show in the main room at Flappers.
Yeah.
And because I was booked in the main room, I didn't read what kind of show it was. I was just like, fuck yeah, main room, done.
Yeah.
It was a political show.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. After the second one, I was like, there's a fucking theme. And I don't do politics.
Oh, no.
So I went up to the host and I'm like...
A little, afro hairs are so sensitive.
Oh, sorry.
No worries, you're good.
But I was like, is this a political show? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And one lady straight up dressed like Melania Trump.
Holy Jesus.
And read Donald Trump's tweet.
Oh, that was like her bit?
That was her bit. And I was like, I'm fucked. And I got up there and I straight up, I'm like, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I didn't know this was a political show. I only have written one political joke in my life. And here it is. And I basically was like, do you guys wonder if Donald Trump's penis looks like a Cheeto? And I'm all, not the pretty puff kind, like the grungy, like deformed, crunchy kind.
Fucking crinkle.
And then I'm like, Melania sees it and she's like, I'm gluten-free. That's not going in my mouth. And I'm like, yeah, that's my stance on politics, guys. Like, I don't care what they go for, what they want. I just want to know what their genitalia looks like. Mm-hmm. And we all know that Hillary Clinton's looks like the back end of a rotisserie chicken. Which is so disgusting. But that's all I have. And then I just went into my regular stuff. Because I'm like, fuck.
I think the only the closest that I ever came to a political joke is in the Gatorade joke. Instead of saying, when I'm at Walmart, I used to say when I'm in Trump country. But I thought Whole Foods and Walmart is funnier.
Yes.
So I changed it. And it hurts a little less feelings for the Trumpers in the audience. Not that I give a goddamn about their feelings, but
your mom and dad might be there.
Oh, I seriously let that ever come to see one of my shows.
My mom, I told them they can't.
Yeah.
She's like, Sissy, I'm well, no. She's like, but Sissy, no.
Luckily, I feel like I don't have to tell my parents I can't, because I'd be like, hey, I'm doing stand-up now. And my mother would be like, is there swearing in your jokes?
No.
And I would say, yes, there is. And she'd be like, okay, well, that's just not really my sort of thing, so I think I won't go. And I'd be like, okay.
My dad, he was like, Sissy, he's like, you use the F-bomb way too much. And I go, what the fuck is the F-bomb? And my mom's like, just let her go, Sam. Like, she's your daughter and she's not gonna stop. And that's kind of where it went. Yeah, and my mom, she's so cute. Like, I did a show on Christmas and I posted it on YouTube, and it was a lot of Christmas jokes, so it wasn't very nasty. And my mom called me and she's like, I liked that one the best. She's like, I like it so much when you're clean. And I'm like, Mom, I shower before every show.
Every show. You think I'm going in there with greasy hair? No.
Right? I'm like, I brush my teeth. Every fuck is minty fresh.
I posted my stand-up on my Facebook, a little 5-minute video. It was like the 7th time I ever did stand-up. And I posted it on my Facebook so my friends could see because they've been asking about it. And that in that version of the Gatorade joke, I say, unless I'm in Trump country. And that's the one that's online. And I thought my mom was going to not acknowledge it. I thought she was going to ignore it. But then she like gave me the little like laughing reaction. And I was like, okay. So you really are just dedicated to pretending everything's normal.
You're like
you're committed to this. Like, go. My mom is goat versus fish level committed to never never acknowledging that anyone is upset at each other.
Either that or you're like, this is a trap.
Yeah.
This is a trap. I'm not going to step into that.
Oh
Yes, your
God.
shoulders are ridiculously tight.
Ugh.
You're going to have to drink 1,000 tons of water tonight.
I can and I will.
And see, it goes by so fast. We're already at like 45 minutes.
It was so fun talking to you.
It was fun. I'm so glad you came.
My back feels so great, and I made a lot of inappropriate noises. So.
And it's awesome because hopefully, if people have their hands down their pants right now, it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's normal. We're all just relaxing in our own way.
We're all sexual beings,
Yeah.
There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Except my children. I don't want to be a grandma. Like, I'm already Mama Joy. Let's not make it Grandmama Joy.
So I can plug my social media. My Twitter is @JustAliceRose, and my Instagram is Alice, the word _ completely spelled out, and then Rose. Alice _ Rose. It's not the symbol, it's the word. Jay Shabang was like, you broke the fourth wall of Instagram. Yeah, there's my social media. Stalk me, like my pics, blow up my DMs, do whatever you want. I respond to everybody.
Hell yeah, and she's super awesome, and we love her. And I hope everybody is relaxed. And until next time, goodbye.
Bye.